Hey, what's up guys? So today I just got in my pre-order for the Canon new RF 50mm f1.8 STM lens. This is currently the cheapest lens that you can get for the RF Canon's mirrorless mount. And I am really excited to play around with it and see what it's like, see what it can do, see how different it is from the old version of this for the EF mount. So first of all, let's just open it really quick. All right, so I'm going to unbox this really quickly. This is going to be like the quickest unboxing ever because there's not much here, but I did want to show you guys what is here. And here we go. So we do have the warranty information. All right, and here's the good stuff. Plastic, the lens, and yeah, that is absolutely it. So here's the lens. And my first impression here feels very similar to the EF 50mm 1.8 STM version. Pretty much the same size. And let's go out and try it. All right, so here is the new RF 50mm f1.8, and here's actually the EF 50mm f1.8. This is the STM version, so this is the newest of the EF mount, nifty 50. This is basically the mirrorless nifty 50, and it's basically a mirrorless version of this. Now, there are some differences. Canon has said that there are some optical differences that they've actually added to this version of the lens. I'm interested to see how much difference there actually is and how much that's going to affect image quality and that kind of thing, performance. A couple things that stand out to me right away on this lens. So the first thing that stood out to me right away was actually this back element. It does not protrude out as far as most RF lenses. That's kind of the advantage, one of the biggest advantages at least of the RF mount, is that you can have a rear element that sits so close to the camera's sensor, and that allows you to get much sharper images. With this design, the rear element is still pretty far away from the sensor. Now, not necessarily as far away as a lens for a DSLR would be, but certainly not taking full advantage of how far back the rear element could be. So I don't expect that this is going to have the same level of sharpness that, say, the RF 35mm f1.8 has. Size and weight, they're very similar. It seems like the RF lens is a bit heavier than the EF lens, but just barely. It's also just ever so slightly wider in this direction than the EF lens. Of course, with the EF version, we just have a focus ring here at the front. With the RF, we still just have one ring, but we have the option to choose between using that as a focus ring or using that as the control ring to set to any custom setting that we want to change in the camera. That's a new feature that RF lenses are capable of having. The one downside that I see already with this is that you have a switch to choose between whether you want to be using this as a focus ring or control ring. However, you don't have a dedicated switch for choosing between autofocus and manual focus. So I'm assuming you're going to have to choose that in the camera menu, which is going to slow things down a lot if you are choosing to manual focus with this. I do also expect at this price point that a lot of people probably aren't going to be using manual focus with this a ton. So it's not necessarily the end of the world, not necessarily a deal breaker with this lens, but it is something to keep in mind. So as far as performance, image quality, and what I've been able to see from this lens so far, now I just got it in today, so I haven't been able to do a ton of stuff with it, but so far I'm really happy with it. So the color reproduction in this lens, one of the things that I was always most impressed with from the EF version of this lens is how well it handles color reproduction for a lens at that price point. And this, I was not disappointed with that either. I think it still has that same really nice color reproduction. Again, for an optic at this price point, it's really hard to beat, and I've been happy with it so far. Autofocus performance seems great, on par with the other RF lenses. So far, from what I can tell with the RF 35mm f1.8, no complaints so far. Yeah, I'm really happy with it and really excited to shoot some more stuff with it and see how far I can push it and really see if there's been much of an improvement, what kind of upgrades they are from the old version of the 50mm f1.8 for the EF mount. So if you are interested in seeing more about this lens, seeing me use it with the R, with the RP, talking about the differences between this version and the EF version, I think I'll also probably look at the differences between this 50mm and the RF 35mm f1.8. If that sounds interesting to you, make sure to subscribe to the channel so that you can get notified when those videos come out. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments below, are you interested in this lens? What are you interested about knowing about this lens? If you're going to stick around and watch more of the videos, what do you want me to cover in the next few videos about this lens? I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. See you guys.